What's going on, guys? It's UrAvgConsumer, and we've got some serious business here, folks. It's time to crown the king of bass headphones, and in today's showdown, we have the Sony XB950BT, and it's going up against the Skullcandy Crusher Wireless, a pair of headphones that you guys always mention every time I talk about these. So let's see which one's better. So first up, design. Now let's talk about straight up looks here, folks. With the Sonys, you're getting a nice premium looking pair of headphones. They've got a nice black and red theme going for it, as well as these metal accents to help with that whole premium look. While the Skullcandy Crushers, they look a bit more basic. Normal pair of headphones are made out of plastic, they're all black. So while not looking as premium as the Sonys, they do look a bit more normal, I'd say. One thing that I do have to give to the Skullcandy Crushers is that when you're going out with these, you can put them on and you feel like you're wearing a normal pair of headphones. While with the Sonys, since they've got these pretty big ear cups, you might feel a little bit more silly walking out the house with these. They're a little bit on the bigger side. Something else to note is that the Crushers can fold, while the Sonys have a swiveling ear cup design. So you can lay these flat while you can fold these up. Basically, it's personal preference, what works for you. I kind of like being able to just put this in my backpack, lay it down flat without it taking up too much space, kind of like a book, but it's up to you in terms of what's more comfortable for you to travel with. Now, you all know how much I love the Sonys, but I gotta give it to the Skullcandy Crushers just because they're more wearable. Now, in terms of comfort, ain't nothing beating these. These are like super comfortable. These ear cushions, because they're so big, they're like giant marshmallows. You can throw these on your head and wear them for hours, while the Skullcandy Crushers will crush your skull. These are a bit tight, and I honestly feel like wearing these for a long period of time, you're gonna wanna take these off. So comfort does not match up with 950BTs whatsoever. Now, in terms of features, these are both Bluetooth headphones, so you can use them wirelessly with your phone, tablet, whatever you want, but they do have some different qualities between them. The Sonys have NFC, so you can pair these easily with your devices if they support NFC, while the Skullcandy Crushers do not. Also, one thing about the Sonys is that they have a ton of buttons all over the ear cups, so you have access to a ton of different controls at your fingertips, while the Skullcandy Crushers have a very basic layout. It's honestly just 3 buttons, pretty much like any inline remote on a pair of headphones. So there's that trade-off. If you call it one, you might like a simpler layout, or you might like having access to all of the controls. Now, these both also have some crazy bass features, and I'll describe the bass in a second, but with the Sonys, you have this bass boost button, which turns the bass up by a jillion, while the Skullcandy has this slider where you can control just how much bass is getting put into your headphones, which is a really nice touch. Something that the Skullcandy Crushers have over the 950BTs is that the slider and the bass control can be used even without using any Bluetooth. You can use it with an inline remote, while when you have the inline remote plugged into the 950BTs, you won't have that feature. You won't have access to the bass boost because you can't turn on the headphones. The 950N1s, you're gonna be able to turn on the headphones and get access to the bass controls, but you can use this without having any battery at all. So this is kind of a bonus there. And lastly, I don't know if you wanna call it a spec or a feature, but in terms of battery life, the Sonys have around 20 to 22 hours of battery, while the Skullcandy Crushers has a very impressive 40 hours. That's a lot of time. So you can go a long time without charging these. That's a very nice touch with the Skullcandies. And in terms of the features between the two of these guys, I honestly gotta say, I do like that I have more at my fingertips with the Skullcandy Crushers. The Sonys NFC is cool. Bass boost is on or off depending on how you're listening to the headphones. But with Skullcandy Crushers, you've always got access to the bass controls, and you got that 40 hours of battery life. So features, Skullcandy gets it. Now to talk about that sound quality. And we're not even gonna touch on bass yet. We'll talk about that after. But when it comes to straight up sound, no bass features, just straight up listening, I gotta say I do think the Sonys sound better, and that's because these have some better overall clarity. It's just easier to hear everything with these. It's not as muffled as with the Skullcandy Crushers. I found that to match the kind of clarity that I got on the Sonys, with the Crushers, I had to pump up the volume quite a bit, and that's never a good sign. And to be honest, if you wanna listen to some music that doesn't have a ton of bass, maybe you wanna listen to classical that day, maybe you're feeling fancy, you're gonna want something that can handle more genres of music that isn't so heavy on bass, offers a bit more clarity, you can hear the vocals a bit better. So overall sound, I gotta give it to the Sonys. But now to talk about that bass. You guys know that I talk about the bass boost button here like it's an earthquake going on in your head, but the Skull Candy Crushers have something crazy going on with this slider, and when you max it out, your ears will seriously vibrate to the point where it almost feels like it's tickling, to be honest. It's kind of strange, it's a weird sensation, but there's something about the Crushers that I'm not too crazy about. It almost feels like that bass is like artificial. There's these springs on the inside of the ear cups, and that's something I didn't like with the first version of the Crushers. That spring sound is just annoying. Actually, take a listen to this. I don't know if you guys can actually hear that, but you hear it all the time when you've got these on. So when you have it just like this, you're moving around, you can hear like some springs moving. It's weird. It doesn't sound normal. And that's why I'm not too crazy about it. But if you're looking for something that just straight up shakes up your head, these are the better option, but I don't like the way this sounds, to be honest. I don't like it. It kind of sounds, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like when someone's driving in a car and playing loud music outside, and you can hear the music, and if you can hear it through your windows and the windows are like kind of rattling a bit, but you still hear the music, that's kind of how it sounds. It's weird. Another thing to mention here is the price. These are both supposed to retail for $200, but you can find the Sonys for way cheaper than that. They're always on sale. You can find them on Amazon for about like $150 right now. They go down to as low as $88 when there's like a big sale like Black Friday. I think I've seen these for as low as $190. So there's that price gap too. So overall to me, while I think it's awesome that you can control the bass with the bass slider here and get some extreme levels of bass on the Skull Candies, I still gotta go with the regular Sonys. It sounds a bit more natural to me, works with more music than the Skull Candies do. I personally am still rocking the 950 BTs over the Crushers. I know a lot of people like these, but I'm gonna stick with these guys for now. I think they're the better bass option. But that's about it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, be the cool guy or girl, gives it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.